Hello, welcome to my channel. I am CS Jasmine. Today in this video, I will be teaching you the second chapter of first subject, that is forms of business organization. In the previous video, we have already discussed the first form of organization, which was sole proprietorship. In this video, we will be discussing the second form of organization, which is HUF. The full form of HUF is Hindu Undivided Family. Now, what is an Hindu undivided family business, or what is an HUF? This is a very unique kind of a business. It is found only in India and it comes under existence as per the Hindu inheritance laws of India. In this kind of a business, the business is actually carried out by all the family members of the family. The members of the family are actually managing the whole business. The eldest member of the family is called the Karta, who is the head of the family, the head of the business, and the other family members are called the co-partners. And the membership is also limited up to 3 successive generations. So this is the kind of business which is found in India, and it's also called the Hindu undivided family business. Now, talking about the Karta of the business. Who is the Karta? He is the eldest member of the family. He occupies a very important position. Now, only a co-partner can become a Karta, but he is not anyone superior, or he has no superior interests. His interests are same as the other family members, as the co-partners. But an adopted son who is the eldest, he is also qualified to become a Karta. And the Karta is the custodian of the income and assets of the HUF. Karta is the head of the family, the person managing the business. In English words, we can say he is the manager of the business. To understand in simple words, he is the head of the family, the eldest person, but he has nothing superior interests in the business. Starting up with the characteristics of HUF, the first characteristic is legal status. It is governed under the Hindu law of India, and it's like a jointly owned business because it's owned by the members of the family. So all the members, they run the business, but under which law it comes, that law is called Hindu law. So it has a legal status under Hindu law. Second, membership. Now, to become a member of any HUF, the person needs to be a family member. So there's no membership other than the members of the joint family. Third, profit sharing. There is nothing like you have to fix the ratio of the profit. It's very simple that all the co-partners, they have equal share in the profits of the business. Nothing changed. Then comes the management. Very simple, as we have heard in the previous slide, that the manager of the business or the head of the business is the Karta. So the business is in the hands of the senior most family member, that is Karta, who can manage the business. The next characteristic is liability. Now the liability of members and liability of Karta is totally different. The liability of members is limited to the extent of their share in business, but the liability of Karta is unlimited, extending to his personal property. So in case of loss, the Karta will lose everything including his personal property, but the member will not lose. They are just limited to the share of their business in case of any loss. Then comes fluctuating share. Now, if there are two members in a business, the share would be 50-50. If it increases to 4, the share will become 25% and so on. So it keeps on fluctuating as the birth of every male child in the family will add to the number and reducing the ratio. And as the same goes, the death of a co-partner will again increase the ratio, reducing the number of the members of the family. Then comes the continuity. It keeps going. It does not gets affected by death of any co-partners. So HUF continues to go on. Now the advantages of HUF. Starting with the first advantage, assured share in profits. It is a very good thing in HUF that every co-partner is assured of his profit irrespective of his contribution. Like whatever whether he's contributing or he's not contributing, whether he's working effectively or not, does not matter. He will get his share of profit, and definitely it safeguards the interests of some members. The co-partner enjoy the share of their profit irrespective of the burden to give back something to the business. Next is freedom in managing. Now the head of the family is the head of the business, the eldest member, whom we call the Karta. Now the Karta enjoys full freedom in conducting the family business, which enables him to take quick decisions. He is not obliged to anybody, to ask anybody for taking any decision. So he has all the freedom in managing the business. The next is sharing of knowledge and experience. As HUF is a family business, so family has young members also and elder members also. This kind of business, it has an advantage that the business takes up the opportunities to take the benefit of the knowledge of the young members of the family who are recently educated, who work in the recent world, and taking up the experience of the elder members of the family who know how to deal with the business, how to take up to another level. The next advantage is unlimited liability of the karta. The advantage is that the liability of co-partners is limited. This is the advantage, but the liability of karta is not limited. The next is continued existence. As heard earlier also, it is not affected by the death or insolvency of the member, including karta. If the karta dies, the next co-partner will become the karta. If any co-partner dies, there is nothing getting affected on the business. So the business goes on and on. Now, what are the disadvantages of HUF? Starting with the first, limited resources. It has limited financial and managerial resources, and it cannot undertake big and risky business because whatever business they are running, it's in their family only. So the resources are just what the family has. Whatever the financial resources the family can contribute are the financial resources, and whatever the managerial knowledge they have, whatever professionals they're not going to hire anybody from outside. They are not bringing up any professional expert to advise them or to consult them. So in simple words, the financial and managerial resources is whatever the family is having in itself. And definitely this kind of a business, it cannot take up something very big or something very risky. The next disadvantage is lack of motivation. Now if you're getting your share of profit without giving anything, without even working, there is just no motivation. A person knows, a co-partner knows that whether I'll work or not work doesn't matter, I will get my share of profit. So this is lack of motivation. They don't need to do any hard work. The next is scope of misuse of power by Karta. Now Karta is handling everything, he's managing everything, he's not obliged to ask anybody. So the Karta has absolute power which he can misuse, and an inefficient Karta can do harm to the business. He can ruin the business for his self-interest, or he can take it up. So if he tries, or he can misuse his power and ruin the business. The next is scope for conflict. Now the male members, they belong to three generations. Three generations, they all have different kind of thinking, different kind of upbringings. So the three generations, as we call, there is always a generation gap between one to another generation. So that gap can actually create conflicts in the business, and maybe the business doesn't work at all. And then comes the instability. Now the continuity of business is always under threat, as the karta can misuse his power, as there can be conflicts, so and the competition goes on and on. So it's not important, and it's very difficult to actually manage this kind of business with limited financial and managerial resources, with no outer help, with no expertise, with no resources. So these are the disadvantages of actually managing this kind of a business, which is called HUF. Now, what is the suitability of this kind of a business? First of all, we all know that for having an HUF, we need to have a joint family. So the success of HUF, now it's completely dependent upon the efficiency of the Karta, because Karta is having the absolute power. He is doing everything without consulting anyone. He is taking the supreme decisions. So Karta should be very, very efficient to run this kind of a business. Then the mutual understanding between the co-partners. If the co-partners are fighting with each other, then the business cannot run, cannot go anywhere. So the mutual understanding between co-partners is very, very important in this kind of a business where three generations are involved with different thinking, different mental states. So the mutual understanding plays a very important role. But if we talk about in general, this type of business, it's losing its ground with the gradual decline, because definitely in coming future, or in even in today's era, there are very less family members who live as joint families, as more and more people are now going into nuclear families, living in small families. So we don't have joint families in future as well. So this kind of a business has a gradual decline, and we may not find many HUFs in future. Thank you for watching my video, and for all the CS Foundation related videos, please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.